Happy Mother's Day. And it's been a very exciting and providential week. We have a new Pope. Last week we were reading and reflecting on the gospel in which Peter had the opportunity to affirm his love for Jesus Christ 3 times. And those 3 times Jesus gave him the mission to feed his sheep. We have Leo the 14th elected, the shepherd, the head shepherd in the Catholic Church, Vicar of Christ. And now we have this beautiful gospel of the Good Shepherd, in which we are praying for all the priests, all the vocations to the priesthood. And we're also celebrating Mother's Day, who are also in their own very specific and special way shepherds for their children. So this gospel is very appropriate. So let's reflect a little bit on what it means to be a good shepherd, and what it means to follow the good shepherd. We've heard in the gospel that Jesus says, I am the shepherd and I know the sheep and they know me. This might seem a very simple statement, but it's very deep. So let's dwell a little bit on it. To know someone, what does that mean? So it doesn't mean like, oh yeah, I know him, like I know who he is, or I know who she is. That's not the sense of that word. It means I know you. I know who are you. In the same way as a mother, for example, knows her children. Everyone is different and she knows her children. Let me ask a question. Who knows better someone? The psychologist or the psychiatrist or the neurologist who can run all these kinds of tests on a person, or his mother? The mother, right? The other one could know some scientific facts about that person, but does he know that person? Not really. Only you know someone when you are in a love relationship, like a lover knows his loved one. That's to know someone. And that's what Jesus is referring to when he says, I am the shepherd who knows the sheep, and they know me as well. So that's a very fair question to ask ourselves. Do we know Christ the Good Shepherd? How do we get to know someone? Well, as in our human level, we get to know someone when we spend time with that person, when we talk to that person or with that person, when we get to go through different topics in our conversation. In the same way, in our relationship with Christ, the Good Shepherd, we should engage in that relation as well, into a conversation. First, for every conversation, one thing is required. This is a prerequisite. First, silence. If we are in the busyness of daily life, in the crowd, in the loud crowd, even if you have the person next to you, everything will be too loud to be able to listen to that person, right? It's the same with God. Sometimes we are too much involved in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives. And even if we try to listen to God, to hear Him, we are not able to. Not because He's not talking to us, but because maybe we're not making enough silence. So the first step to getting to know someone is creating the proper and the right environment. Make silence. Take your time to talk to God. And then engage into a conversation. How do I do that with God? I mean, it's so strange, God. Well, He has given us His Word in the Bible, the sacred scriptures. Go deep into the sacred scriptures. Oh, it's too hard. Yeah, it could be. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky or gloomy. But the more you read the Bible, and also that's why we have Bible studies and all sort of resources, the more you go deeper into the Bible, the easier and the more tasteful it becomes. You engage in the conversation with Christ. And not only that, it's not only about talking to someone, but it's also spending time with that someone. So pay him a visit. Where? In the Eucharist. Come to Eucharistic adoration. You have multiple opportunities at this parish and other parishes. Pay him a visit. Maybe it could be 10 minutes that can change your whole week. Maybe take a half hour that can change your whole week. It's like, a good breakfast changes your whole day, right? It's the same here. Take your time, spend time with Jesus, who loves you more than what you could ever imagine. And as we engage into this relationship with Christ, then beautiful things begin to happen. Like what? Well, he says, the shepherd leads the sheep. So as we begin this relationship with Christ, and we will distrust in him, and the ability to listen to him, we are also able to follow him. Because he says and I invite you to just review the chapter 10 of the Gospel according to John, the chapter of the Good Shepherd. He also says there are some false shepherds. Where are they leading, these false shepherds? These thieves. Well, they want to take advantage of you. They don't care about you. They care about what you have, what profit they can make out of you. So there are some false shepherds. And if we are not following the Good Shepherd, it is most likely that we will be pursuing or going after false shepherds. Let me ask you a question. Who are you following? And nowadays, social media has been the main battlefield about who we are following. Let me ask you a question. Is that person that you are following on social media or in whatever situation, is that person taking you to heaven? Is that person making you holier? If not, maybe it's a false shepherd. I'm not saying that it's evil in him or herself, but I'm not saying you should not follow that person as if he or she was the Good Shepherd, Christ himself. It doesn't necessarily have to be evil in itself to be inconvenient for you, right? We should follow the Good Shepherd who is taking us all to heaven, who is giving our lives for us, who is protecting us, who is feeding us. That's also very important. The Good Shepherd feeds us, feeds our soul. Throughout my priestly ministry, I remember, I don't know how many years ago, already been quite a while, I was visiting this very, very poor place in Lima, the capital of Peru. And I was talking it was like a shelter for kids. And I was talking to this tall kid, and I was asking him, so what would you like to study when you graduate from high school? And he was saying, I would like to be an engineer. Oh, great. So how many years is that gonna have to, how many years for you to graduate? Oh, I'm graduating this year. Huh. He was this tall. What happened there? Malnutrition, right? You can tell when there's some physical or biological malnutrition. Well, the same thing happens to us in our soul. When you are, and I don't know, maybe this is a gift for the priests, but let me tell you, as I engage into a conversation, after 2 minutes or maybe less, I can tell when someone is going through spiritual malnutrition. And it happens. There's no density in the soul. There's no density in the spirit. So it's Christ who feeds our soul. The Good Shepherd, he leads us, he protects us, and he feeds us. So today, dear brothers and sisters, let us give thanks to the Lord, for He is a good shepherd, and He has also given us His vicar, the Pope, Pope Leo XIV. Let us pray for him. He's got a huge burden on his shoulders, huge responsibility. And also let us pray for our mothers. And I especially pray for all those who are mothers here, either biological mothers or spiritual mothers, but also caring and nurturing all those around them. And let us also pray for the vocations to the priesthood and the religious life on this weekend, in this weekend dedicated to the priestly vocations.